Right. Welcome to Vivid Dreams Month. I am chatting with Lauren Dicair. Lauren, do you want to just tell us a little bit about what you do, and then we will talk about dreams?
Sure. I am a psychotherapist in private practice just outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the United States.
Cool. So, vivid dreams. I know we can get vivid dreams. Sorry, I have a dog attacking me here, so that's fine. He just wants to be in on the video. I know we can obviously get vivid dreams at any time during our life, but a lot of women find that they get crazy dreams during perimenopause. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, hormones can do all sorts of things to our body, and there's certainly a mind-body connection. So even though this is, something that's going on in the reproductive system, we cannot separate mind and body. And so part of the above the neck effects that you can have are things I think a lot of people know about, like anxiety and depression, mood things. But in addition to that, the other thing that your brain does is create dreams. And in your sleep, just because you're sleeping doesn't mean that those hormonal shifts aren't still doing their thing. So I think the vivid dreams are one of the overnight during sleep kinds of expressions of how perimenopause can manifest itself.
Yeah. And some people are happy to just kind of go with the dreams, I guess, but some people want to stop them, don't they?
Yeah, you'll hear a lot of that. People are like, this is just unbearable. Either they're really scary or they just feel really intense. The person wakes up feeling unsettled. Maybe they don't feel like, they're getting quality sleep, and it's just disturbing to them.
Yeah. So would you ever try and help people to stop the dreams, or would you work with them to try and accept them and understand them and work with them?
Yeah, I think it can go one of two ways. If it is incredibly distressing and the person wants absolutely nothing to do with them, then, I might support them with engaging in some sleep hygiene tips.
Yeah.
Because there's certainly things that you can do in preparation for bed in order to ensure deeper sleep quality, to ensure that you don't have as many disruptions, whether it might be vivid dreams or waking up a lot in the night, even, just waking up with anxiety. So, I have various tips that I can give on that. I don't know if you want me to kind of flush through those.
I think sleep hygiene tips are always useful.
Yes, they are, because I think aside from vivid dreams, this could probably solve a lot of perimenopause type things that people go through. So one of the things that you'll hear is sort of in preparation for sleep, even starting with the very beginning of your afternoon. Some people like to drink a lot of coffee. And some people, particularly when we're having those hormonal shifts, find they have major cravings, including for chocolate. And chocolate, like coffee, contains caffeine. And caffeine is a stimulant. And, that gets the neurons in your brain stimulated. And it's really recommended to reduce your caffeine intake, particularly in the afternoon. So, for example, I really recommend that people do not drink any coffee after 3 p.m. because that's going to stay with you. So, you want to reduce, you want to try, if you drink 3 cups, maybe try 2, see if you notice any shifts, and not, maybe bring it down a little bit. I know that can be tough for some people, but there's other ways to energize yourself, like staying hydrated with water or, doing exercise. Those are great ways to get yourself to wake up during the day. Another thing that's important is to maintain the same bedtime every night. So even if you're not feeling particularly sleepy, it's just the act of getting into your bed at the same time every night, shutting off the lights, making sure that the room is a cool temperature, making sure that there's no noise, and just sort of laying there and maybe doing some deep breathing exercises or meditation. There's lots of cool apps for that, like Headspace is an app for that.
Yeah.
And what I suggest is to just try to lay there and calm your body down. And if you can't get to sleep within 20 minutes, the rule is to get out of bed and do another activity that's quiet. And the reason for that is you don't want to lay in bed awake too long, because what happens is that your mind starts to associate the bed with insomnia. So it's really important not to do that. Bed should be for sex and sleep, period, not work, not just laying there. So you want to get up and do a quiet activity. And I mean by that, nothing too exciting, not some loud action thriller movie, maybe a book that's kind of boringish, maybe getting into a tub with warm water, just something relaxing. And once you start to feel a little more sleepy again, try to go back to the bed and do the same thing again. Trying to think here. Another thing that's important is, we all interface with screens, whether it's the TV, our computers, our tablets, and it's really important to try to turn that off about 2 hours before you plan on going to bed, because the lights of that really keep your brain awake and those neurons firing. If you absolutely must use one of these screens, it's recommended that you go into the settings and turn off the blue light. So it's like a blue light blocker, because it's that light in particular that really stimulates our brain. So if you have to, it's sort of like a harm reduction technique to try to make your brain a little bit quieter.
Yeah.
So those are some initial things that people can start with to try to change some habits. And that'll provide for a more relaxing bedtime and more relaxing experience of the sleep itself.
Awesome. So then if we look to the people who are okay with these dreams happening, or they just want to know what's going on, should they be taking messages from them? Is there anything, is there a message in there, or is it just frankly that weird stuff's happening overnight and that's cool?
Yeah. So, as a psychotherapist, I believe that dreams are incredibly rich. It may seem really random. You're just having a dream where, I don't know, some people dream weird things like a cat flying through space with a broom or something, and other people may find their dreams are more realistic. Either way, I think that there's really rich symbolism that can be taken from that. And even if these dreams are hormonally driven, I think that it's still your subconscious working through some sort of process. There's something that's going on in your life that it's sort of like, if you want to think of it, when your computer does a system update overnight. Yeah. This is the same thing your brain is doing. It's kind of refiling. It has like a filing cabinet. It's going through, it's organizing things. It's your subconscious trying to figure things out. So it takes a little bit of creativity, particularly if you're doing it on your own and you don't have a therapist. But what you can sort of do is, I always liken it to, like in high school and college, when we had like literature books we had to read, and you have to write a paper sort of looking at the symbolisms and the metaphors and the characters and the things happening in the book. You're sort of going to do the same thing with the dreams, thinking about personally, what does this color or this object or this person represent to you? There are some websites you can go to that do dream analysis, but those are very general blanket kinds of symbols. And I think it's important to look at what it means to you personally. Another perspective that comes from Gestalt therapy specifically is that each person and object in the dream represents a part of yourself that's not separate, but just these different parts of yourself trying to figure each other out. So, you could sort of make a journal. I recommend, if you do a dream journal, though, that you want to keep the journal by your bedside. And when you wake up, do not go and do anything else. Don't go to the bathroom. Don't get up. Immediately reach for that journal. Or if you don't like writing, maybe reach for the memo on your phone and press record and just say whatever you remember. And then later on, come back and sort of flush out and see what symbols, that you can come up with, and kind of do some soul searching. Think about, what might these things mean? What is your brain trying to work through? If you do have a therapist or interested in getting a therapist, which I think in general is a really vital thing for people in perimenopause, because there's different techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy that can help with the anxiety and the depression and, just the overall effects. There's lots of things you can do in therapy to help with the various symptoms. One of the things that some therapists can do is dream analysis, and they can really help you walk through what some of these things may mean if you find you're struggling to figure out what the symbols are.
Awesome. So have you got any other advice for people who are experiencing vivid dreams, or do you feel like we've sort of covered what we need to?
Yeah, I think that the biggest takeaway is, they can feel disturbing, but I think they can be really rich. And, I encourage people to really work through that, because either way, these energies are going to come out in one way or another. And if you don't deal with them in your dreams, they're going to be there in your waking life. Energy cannot be destroyed. So it's going to come out one way or another. So you might as well just try to work with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I think, it's what so much of all of this comes down to, is actually self-forgiveness and accepting what's going on and working with it, as you say, rather than trying to fight it. As can be said for this dog. I'm just going to work with him. I'm not going to try and fight him. So Lauren, thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.